to be successful out here, you've really got to be adaptable to change and making change happen before you're forced to make it change. We're in Argyle Station, which is about 180 kilometres west of Burke in far western New South Wales, just east of a small town called Wanaaring. We're on a 45,000 hectare grazing property. We graze sheep and cattle sometimes, predominantly red soil country with mulga and rosewood trees and woolly butt and neverfail and perennial native species. You can see around us that sort of typical type of country on. Farming and grazing is more of a business than it's ever been now, and any business is sending its employees and managers on training courses and things all the time, because you've got to keep up with what's going and be able to change ahead of being forced to change. And the only way to do that is knowing what other people are doing and knowing how they're doing it and talking to people. We all get caught up on our places working hard, but it's very important to do things like innovative programs, which I'm a part of with the WCMA, where you get to meet other people and see what they're doing and talk to people in environments where no question's a stupid question, which is what needs to happen for people to learn from each other. We came here looking for country that we could do something with. There's a fair bit of area on this place that doesn't have a lot of ground cover. There's a lot more than there used to be, and we saw it as an opportunity to get our hands on some country at a relatively low price that we could probably double our carrying capacity on if we ran it properly and used a bit of sustainable management to get it where we wanted it to go. The second reason was because it was in drought and had been for 4 or 5 years, and we thought that being in drought for that long, it must be pretty close to breaking, which wasn't quite right. But because it was so dry and had been for so long, ground cover levels would have been 15 to 20%, and a lot of that was old perennial grass that didn't have much left in it. So a lot of bare ground, very dry, pretty sparse, and a little bit daunting at first when you get out of the car and wonder what animals are going to have to eat. We had a lot of work to do to get the place up to running how we needed it to run to support a couple of families. We bought the place unstocked, but there was a lot of feral goats around. They do bring an income, but there's no way that they're worth as much to us as what sheep are. So initially we decided that we had to get the fencing organised so that we could control where the stock were and get our water sorted out so that we could use that as well to sort of move our stock where we wanted them to be. We've been lucky here that my father was pretty visionary in the sense that he could see that things weren't working like we were hoping, and through funding from the WCMA I attended a lot of grazing management courses, and that was instrumental in getting us both to get in the mindset that we could make a change the way we're managing the place in our rotational grazing and the breed that we were running. And the teachings that I was involved in with all these courses has made a huge difference in making the implementation of those ideas successful. One of the hardest things about changing what you do is when you decide to do it, or before you decide to do it, you're worried about, well, if I start, how am I going to keep going? Is it going to become a bad idea? And going to field days, doing different courses, reading literature on this thing, which there's a lot of, can just give you that little bit of confidence to say, well, I'm going to make the change, and here's a few ideas that may help me do it. And speaking to people who have done it, I've been to probably every grazing course there is, and they're absolutely useless if you go home and do nothing. The course isn't totally going to suit your place and your finances and how you run it, but there's certainly going to be little bits and pieces in it that you can take home and use. There's something to be learnt. There's a little something in everything, so it might just be one simple idea that you can go home and apply and get some results from it.
The WCMA's put a lot into perspective, I think, of looking after the country, and over the years we've really seen a real improvement. Now we've got some grass, I think, you know, it's all about really looking after it and rotating the stock. You can just really see the difference that it's made, and these projects really help you focus on that and make sure that you keep going with it all. It's quite different now, like we've really progressed over the years. Everything's a bit more set now and organised, that especially now we're rotationally grazing, so everything's a lot more planned out, which is a lot better on everyone and family, and yeah, we've sort of come a long way really, and we're in a bit more of a better season now, which is it's not as stressful probably on everyone and family life. This has definitely been an eye-opener, and yeah, seen a real difference that it can make, and it's a good incentive for people to do, and yeah, really given us the push in the right direction, I think.